What it do? Welcome to the J-Boy Sports Podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. If you don't love the content, you can still do those things because you can still help a brother out, because you know a brother would always help you out. So make sure that you hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our glorious content. Make sure you comment so we can have conversations in the comment section. I will reply. Ball is life. Lastly, hang on towards the end of this video for some other suggested videos that we know that you will love. And with this video, we're going to discuss Samaki Walker. It's been a while since I said that name, but you're talking to a diehard Lakers fan that has been watching the team since I was old enough to really understand what was going on with basketball. Samaki Walker was on the team, specifically, I believe, during the first run with the Lakers with Kobe and Shaq. He was our backup power forward, and, you know, he did what he was supposed to do. He was actually a really good defender, in my opinion, and, you know, played off of Kobe and Shaq fairly well. He was a piece that, you know, helped us out. I remember him and guys like Slava Medvedev and Mark Madsen. Those are the guys that come to mind off the top of my head. And those guys were, you know, a part of our championship teams in one way, shape, or another. And I remember them vividly. And Samaki Walker, I haven't really heard too much about him at all since those times. I don't even remember where he went after the Lakers. I don't think his career ended after that, though. I do remember him being on some other teams. I'm pretty sure he was. He was better than Mark Madsen and Slava Medvedev, because once those two, Madsen maybe played a little bit more, but definitely, and Slava was actually pretty good in my opinion. He had a nice jump shot, but once they were off the Lakers, I really didn't hear too much from those other guys, but I did hear about Samaki Walker, and I feel like Samaki Walker played on the Spurs after that a little bit. There's a strong chance that he may have, but he came out recently and said some things in defense of Kobe Bryant, and he said something specifically that I've said on another video that I really want you guys to listen to, because it explains exactly one of the major reasons why I don't think you can just swap out Kobe Bryant. It's not just about the talent, right? It's about the fit, but a specific piece of the fit that matters. So check out what he says, and then we'll touch base on it again.
What I laugh is that now everybody got a platform to kind of control their own narrative, right? So everybody want to come back now and rewrite their own narrative about, well, what I could have did and did this. Well, do it when you had the chance. That's as simple as that. And if you didn't, shut the fuck up. I'm calling cap. Let me tell you something. I love T-Mac. T-Mac, one of my favorite players. In fact, yes, he was as talented and potentially even more talented than Kobe from a pure talent standpoint. And we keep talking about this Mamba mentality, but we seem to have amnesia when it comes to really talking about what separates players.
Talk about it.
See, Kobe, again, played 20 years because of how he treated his body. It was the consistency. You heard T-Mac and you hear Gilbert and all these other guys talk about it, how Kobe approached. But yet, all of a sudden, now my ego stroke. Now, all of a sudden, we just going to forget about all that. Hell no. Kobe was that guy. I told you, I used to sit and watch this guy for 20 minutes, roll the ball out, go to all 5 spots on the court, no trainer, nobody there, play the game through his imagination and imagine him putting players in place. Guys wasn't doing that shit. Like, chill out with that, fam. When T-Mac challenged Shaq the way he did, so we talking mentality now. Would that happen? I doubt it. Kobe had the mentality to bring the best out of the diesel and carry that, and wasn't willing to be confrontational with nobody. It was a mentality thing. So if we're going to continue to try to separate mentality from talent, or try to group it all together as if, you know, talent is all about talent. If you just look at pure talent, yeah, he can do everything. T-Mac can do anything Kobe can do from a talent perspective.
Yep.
But when it comes down to mentality, Kobe's health for 20 years also has to do with his approach and how he carried himself off the court. The methodical training, the details. It's the details.
And people not thinking too, like, the time was different. Back in the days, the teams were scoring like 95 total points. You know what I'm saying? So when Kobe dropped 60, you understand, he dropping 60 of the 90 points. Like, it was different.
Or 70 after 3 on Dallas.
Right. Like, it's different.
Yeah, dog, I'm tired of hearing it. When Booker scores 70, and then Donovan Mitchell scores 60, and them motherfuckers are like, oh, he's the Kobe. I'm like, shut up, man.
Come on with all that, bro.
So, I mean, the simple version of this is Samaki Walker pretty much kept it real. This is the Coach JB show, for the record, with him and I forgot what the other guy's name is, but good show. Only reason why I would suggest it to everybody is because, I mean, personally, I try not to do a whole bunch of cursing. They curse all the time on that show, but but he's a good listen, man. He has the Coach JB knows what he's talking about, man. Definitely. Wish it would keep it a little bit more PG-13 for the kids, but you know, other than that, boys on point. So Samaki Walker said it straight up and down. A lot of people say a lot of stuff about Kobe Bryant, but you had the same chance in some situations. You know, somewhere, some way, somehow, things have moved in a way for some guys where you had an opportunity to be in a position like Kobe. But two things stood out to me that he mentioned most specifically. Number one is that Kobe was practicing offense, rolling the ball out with nobody else there, imagining where people were. Just playing the game based on what was happening to him from his memory when he was in the game. And then obviously, he didn't say it, Samaki didn't say this, but we know Kobe Bryant watched a lot of film. Kobe had been watching film since he was in high school, making, you know, kill list about who he's going to get over the top of. None of this is new. And it may seem like little details. Recently, a LeBron Goblin said to me, I just want to talk about the stats. All you guys want to talk about is the mentality and blah, blah, blah. Listen, man. Everybody's talented at something. The difference between who is the most talented, who's the most successful, and who's not is your mentality. That's what it comes down to. You can't have one without the other. You can't beat somebody who's got the same skill or maybe even a little less skill than you, but a crazy killer mentality. You can't touch that person. You can't defeat somebody like that. They're on another level. Samaki says this guy is rolling the ball out and practicing based on what he remembers from the game. Just visualizing stuff. Getting ready for his next opponent or whatever else he was preparing for. And then the other thing he said is, can you stand up to Shaq? Shaq is a great player, one of the best of all time, in my top 10. However, if you let Shaq do whatever he wants to do, that's what he's going to do. Shaq, based on what I see from him, was not highly motivated at all times to be the best at all times. At times, it looks like he kind of took a shortcut. And Shaq, I love you, man. I'm not disrespecting. I'm just saying, even you admitted there was things maybe you could have did better. Shaq could have been a better free throw shooter, man. If he would have did that, who would have been able to stop him? You know, what could you do to stop a guy that like Shaq that's really good at free throws? I mean, there's things that he left on the table, in my opinion, that he could have just, you know, could have made it no contest. Shaq could have been the best player of all time if he mastered a few more things. You know, but he didn't. But one of the people that helped keep him in line, and he helped keep him in line too, because there's other parts of Kobe, maybe, especially early, that he didn't relate to his teammates well and stuff like that. Those are things that Shaq did well. Let's give Shaq his credit. But like Samaki said, when you got to stand up to Shaq, when you got to tell Shaq, I'm not giving you the ball unless you work for it, which is something Kobe literally talked about saying, that makes Shaq better. Shaq is fighting with you. You're fighting with Shaq. You guys, iron sharpens iron. Two grown alpha men that are elite. One on the outside, one on the inside, that are pushing each other to be better. Sometimes they're pissed off at each other. But you know what? For Shaq, the more angry, the better. Kobe was born with a built-in anger, it seems like. A quiet, I'm going to kill at all times. You know? But that wasn't exactly what Shaq had. And so you have to be, can Tracy McGrady, if you switch him out, he mentioned T-Mac. I'm okay with Mac. I've already made a video on how I don't have an issue with Mac and what he said, because he apologized too. I just think it was I just think he said some stuff he wasn't, you know, proud of. Ego got in the way, which happens with Shaq too, honestly. But when Shaq is doing what Shaq wants to do and not taking certain things seriously, does T-Mac, Vince, AI, the discipline, the I'll die for this, do those guys have that? Great players, possibly more talented than Kobe at first glance. But Kobe's mentality separated him. Kobe's body broke down earlier than I would have liked to have seen. MJ's body didn't break down like that. Bron's body definitely didn't break down like that. You know, Kobe had a long enough career. But even his body broke down at the end. T-Mac's body broke down early. Gilbert Arenas, who's always talking crap about Kobe, body broke down early. Jeff Teague, who recently came out and said some dumb stuff, body broke down early. Let's give Kobe his credit. Now, he ain't LeBron. Ain't nobody LeBron. Or even Mike when it comes to that, because Mike kept taking... I mean, Mike took some breaks, but still, like, you know, his meniscus got messed up. He still was playing at 40. Kobe wasn't playing at 40. Kobe did not look like Kobe at the end. Not close. Mike didn't look like prime Mike, maybe, but Mike still looked smooth. Like, he still gets a little jumper off. His jump shot wasn't, like, dead. Kobe, by the end, his legs were gone. It looked like he could not shoot the way he used to at all. Everything looked like a struggle. That wasn't what Mike looked like. So, those two things really stick out to me from what Samaki Walker said, is that if you're going to be Kobe, fine, but you're going to be practicing with just the ball, trying to memorize things and figure out how you're going to attack your opponent. It may look stupid to everybody else, but even Samaki said, I was watching it. I was intrigued. Are you going to stand up to Shaq, who's 7 feet, 330 plus pounds, physical freak, most dominating force you ever seen in your lifetime? No, y'all didn't watch Wilt. I dang sure didn't. You going to stand up to that monster, that Goliath? Are you? Some of y'all can't stand up to midgets because they're aggressive. You going to stand up to Shaq when he's had enough of you? So, the mentality matters, man. And I thought Samaki did a good job of explaining that. I've said it, people don't listen, but for somebody that watched it day in and day out, that watched the interactions that Kobe and Shaq had with each other, how Kobe didn't back down. If you don't, everybody doesn't have that. Everybody's not born with that. You know what I mean? A lot of people can't even build that. So I don't, like he said, we don't need to hear all that. If that wasn't you, that wasn't you. So thank you guys for listening. What do you think? Do you think Samaki has a point? You know, does Kobe and his mindset, how much does the mindset, the Mamba mentality matter in terms of what made Kobe great? How much does that matter? What do you think? Okay? Please like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our glorious content. Make sure that you comment, because I will reply. You know, ball is life. I will reply. Also, you want to make sure you hang on towards the end of this video for some other suggested videos that we know you'll love. I truly appreciate you. Thank you very much for your time. Very humble. Much love. That somehow you never get over.